Okay, dear colleagues, dear esteemed members of the Working Group for Bosnia and Herzegovina, it is a great honor and privilege to welcome you all to today's session. As a group committed to, as a group of committed US citizens and advocates, we strive to engage with key decision makers who are shaping Bosnia's future. And today we have the privilege to be joined by Almedin Dino Konakovic, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bosnia and Herzegovina. He's also the founder of the People and Justice Party and has served in prominent roles, including a member of the Federal House of Representatives and the Premier of Sarajevo Canton. Mr. Konakovic has been instrumental in advancing Bosnia's international agenda, particularly its path toward the EU and NATO membership, which are the two pillars of Bosnia's future, security and prosperity. Today, we will share his insights on the country's ongoing efforts to integrate into those vital institutions, as well as discuss the challenges and opportunities ahead. In addition to his distinguished career in politics, Minister Konakovic had a unique background as a former professional basketball player, and he also had leadership roles both off and on the court. So Minister Konakovic, we're very thrilled to have you with us today, and we look forward to this important conversation. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's really my great pleasure and honor to be with all of you today. And thank you for this working group, actually for organizing this group and for all advices and activities you are taking about and regarding Bosnia and Herzegovina's future. Right now, we have an opportunity and offer on the table from EU like we never had before. Unfortunately, because of Russian aggression on Ukraine, EU woke up and they realized that it's not only administrative issue with Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's a security issue also. And they completely have changed the enlargement policy inside of EU. So then they started to think seriously about enlargement, and they officially and really actively, they opened the door and they actually offered good deal for Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have new Council of Ministers appointed, confirmed last year, January. I think it's already 12 to 20 months. And it was successful mandate at the beginning. We adopted 16 different laws. We adopted 7 important laws from this EU agenda story. And we were awarded with the final decision from Brussels this year in March to officially open negotiations with Bosnia and Herzegovina. We still need to deliver a lot, but this was really a good sign. And it was a kind of leadership from EU in March, not only like they were not only measuring like administrative tools and what we had delivered from 14 key priorities, they realized the importance of the enlargement because of the economical, but also security issues for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Unfortunately, we have a partner on the state level, Mr. Milorad Dodik and his SNSD party, who will participate tomorrow, BRICS session, I think. He is leaving tomorrow. He will be with President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and this will be the third time for Dodik to meet Putin only this year. He met him June 6th this year, and they send horrible messages to all of us, to EU, to USA, to so-called Western countries, and actually he is really unpredictable. And also on the other side, it's impossible to have any law, any serious document, budget, nothing can be adopted without SNSD on the state level because, unfortunately, of Dayton Agreement and Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina, where we need to reach a consensus about all important issues. So let's go back to EU. Now we have concrete offer on the table. They offered a growth plan for Western Balkans countries. This is really big deal. For us, it's really important. I will just tell you a few numbers, like Bosnia and Herzegovina is exporting yearly 92% of our products to European Union market. Like that goes to 70% goes to directly to member states and 22% to the region. And all regional countries are candidate countries for EU. So that shows the importance of economical integration of our market into big European market. And that's the only bright future in the field of economy for Bosnia and Herzegovina. We cannot find any kind of substitution, replacement. It's impossible to deal with BRICS. It's far away. Geographically, it's impossible to deal with USA, with United Kingdom, these numbers are showing how important EU integrations are for Bosnia and Herzegovina in a sense of economy. Today, it's more important because we have on the other side, we have big brain drain issue. People are leaving. They are leaving because of economical opportunities like an EU in the first place. And we need to provide something. We need to offer them like job opportunities. We need to raise salaries. And on the other side, our market is really small. We cannot bring any serious investors if we don't integrate our market into big and strong European single market. So we have a proposal for gradual integration, which is really, really good for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And we need to adopt few more laws, like to start with defining negotiation framework with the screening and to official start the integration into European Union. On the other side, I will repeat, we have this malign Russian influence present like never before. Putin is really interested in slowing down our European path. And I think they were all surprised in March this year when Europeans actually decided to grant a green light for Bosnia and Herzegovina to officially start negotiations. And since then, nothing seriously happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Dodik is really slowing down. On the other, or he's blocking. He blocked several important and I can say technical laws. And on the other side, he's under big and huge pressure from United States because of sanctions. He's sanctioned. He's being prosecuted. On the other side, he's sanctioned with his whole family, with his friends, colleagues, associates, and they are really suffering because of these sanctions. To be honest, I didn't know that these sanctions can shut down your account in bank. And he's really in big trouble. Also, on the other side, supported by Putin, he's really blocking and slowing down the future of Bosnia and Herzegovina, including Republika Srpska entity in Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is also with the same numbers. We export to Russia and China together yearly less than 1% of our products. So that shows that it's impossible to develop our economy. I understand that we can have some special relations with, I don't know, Russia, Turkey, or some other countries because of tradition, religious, and some other important facts. But if we talk about the future of Bosnia and Herzegovina, about economy, that's only way out is European Union. Also, on the other side, NATO. If I can choose, I will choose NATO before EU because that's something that provides security in the first place. We have excellent examples with the previous Eastern Bloc countries like Romania, Bulgaria, and other after they become members of NATO, they had 8.5% yearly growth of GDP in the first year. So that shows how important this process is, but also, unfortunately, because of Dayton, because of Constitution, and because of part of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Republika Srpska side, they are not interested in full integration. We made a mistake in the last mandate, the previous one, when we actually our side, let's say, when we accepted to continue with the cooperation with NATO, not anymore with the full membership with NATO. So that's behind us. But also on the other side, we have some movements because of NATO. We have a NATO symposium on Tuesday here in Sarajevo, big event organized by NATO himself. We had a next session this year, and I think it was February, March, I don't know, this year. It was great. Also, it was a really great message from NATO side. And NATO, I can say they're present. They're really interested in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but unfortunately, we cannot at this moment talk anymore about full integration, which by me is really top priority number one. But unfortunately, because of whole Serbian representatives from Republika Srpska, Serb representatives, we cannot talk about full integration. So this is now till the end of this year. We had elections, of course. We had local elections. When you have elections, of course, we are all more populist than it's usual. And now we go back to some political reality, and we will try to achieve few more important laws. We have Ursula von der Leyen coming for the third time in this mandate, in my mandate in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Actually, that shows the importance of this process for European Union. And she will be here 25th of October. So she expects us to deliver something from this 14 key priorities to continue with the reforms. I'll go back with this growth plan. They actually offered the 6 billion euros for the Western Balkans countries. The serious amount of money, but the more important is this gradual integration of our market into big and strong European market. I had many contacts and meetings with the people all around the world, especially, let's say, on the East. GCC countries are really interested in investing in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they will invest if we have direct approach, and with no administrative barriers on this EU market. Actually, that will bring serious and really a lot of probably investments in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So this is our top priority right now at this moment. Of course, we have this, I will repeat, Russian malign influence. We are fighting with the problems, and we will see in the coming weeks, actually, is Dodik's plan to continue with the reform and to help to the people in Bosnia and Herzegovina, including Republika Srpska, of course, or he is actually not the owner of his own decision. I think he's not the owner of his own decision, and actually Putin is playing this game. I will finish with just one short story that I heard from previous president of Slovenia, Mr. Borut Pahor. He's really friend of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We were together in Mostar on panel 2 months ago, and he told us a story when he met Putin, I don't know, maybe 10, 12 years ago, and he asked him what is actually the interest of Russia in Western Balkans. So he said, you already have countries, they are member states in NATO, they are all applied for membership in EU. And Putin said, yeah, it was a mistake to let them to NATO, and we will not repeat the same mistake. So he sent a message to the left, to the rest of the world, that he's interested in this part of Europe, and he can control the processes with direct influence and contacts with individuals, because Russia is not economically really interested in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also with Dodik, with, I don't know, people like Vulin, like this guy from Montenegro, Mandic, or few of them, they're having direct impact and direct influence here in this region, which actually is not helpful for the countries of Western Balkans. So that's what I can tell you at the beginning. Of course, any questions, whatever you need to know, I will try to respond, to answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister Konakovic, for your discussion about the EU and sharing the information about the growth plan, which is, I think, from 2024 till 2027 to be implemented.
Yes.
Exactly. So now I would like to open the floor for any questions from the audience here. This is an opportunity for us to engage in a deeper dialogue on the topics that matter most to our community of advocates. So please feel free to raise your hand, and we will do our best to get as many questions as possible in the time that we have left. Okay, hi, we have Nerma here. Nerma, welcome to our discussion today. Great to see you.
Great to see you. I'm sorry, my voice is a little bit, I just have had a corona, so it's not in the best shape, but still strong enough to ask Minister. Hi.
Hello.
I would be very interested to hear, how is your relationship actually, how is our relationship with HDZ, with Čović, and what is your position on Kovačević case? Because you've been talking only about problems with Dodik and so on, but now in a moment, in last few months, we really have a problem on that side. So I would be really like to hear a few news from you about that.
Mm-hmm. Our relations with HDZ are professional. That's, if I can choose, I will actually have a coalition with Komšić and Izetbegović before Dodik or Čović, if I can choose, but I cannot choose because of constitution, because of this House of People story, because of federation. Of course, this is like the reason why HDZ is almost every mandate part of the government. Kovačević case is one of the cases that shows that Bosnia and Herzegovina is not a civic society like EU standards actually is asking. Like, we want to achieve EU standards, and I'm completely in favor of implementation of this, but all other international court decisions, like we have Sejdić-Finci case, which is really important, and It's our must from our side. We said we will talk about the electoral changes and about changing constitution and election law only if that includes implementation of all international court decisions. But to be honest, I actually was investigating this story and I was checking what is happening with this court decision all over Europe. I think you have Italy, Bulgaria, or some other countries. They have hundreds of international court decisions not implemented. And I hope that international court will decide in favor of Slaven Kovacevic, but implementation can happen only inside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, inside of parliament, with representatives from Republika Srpska side and also HDZ side. That is the reason why I'm not so loud. And I think we have really important processes to finish because of the future of our country. If we don't bring investors in Bosnia and Herzegovina in really short period of time, our country is going to disappear demographically. Like, people are leaving. We have one more huge problem. Our pension fund in Federation, it's now 3.2 billions. It's going to be in only 8 years. It's really short. In only 8 years, it's going to be doubled. And if we want to protect and save pension fund, we need to have our GDP growth yearly more than 3%. We don't have 3% now. We can have 3% only with foreign investments. We can have investments only with a political stability, with European reforms. That is actually our focus right now at this time. It's international. It's interesting story. Kovacevic case should be, of course, one of the with the same result like Pinci, Pilav, Zornic, Tadic, all of them. And we need to we need to do election reforms, including constitution, of course, and that's going to be a part of these already existing problems. Also on the others, and I think Christian Schmidt, of course, made a mistake because he went to, I don't know, to witness.
That is what I wanted to.
Yeah, but for me, that's not crucial. That's really important. That's important issue, but crucial issue is to protect the economy of this country. Or in only 8 years, we're gonna have some predictions actually, and some serious people from, let's say, World Bank are telling that, like, in only 10 years, Slovenia will have more citizens than Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's our biggest problem, and we can solve it only with economical development. On the other side, implementation of international courts are must. Like, we cannot interpret them. We need to implement them. But we can implement international court decisions only inside of those parliaments where HDZ and SNSD are playing really serious role. Without them, it's impossible. And I'm not optimistic that's gonna be solved in, I don't know, 2-3 years, unfortunately.
Thank you. I didn't think that they are going to implement that. We can be able to implement it anyway. I was just interested in a situation because in this moment, HDZ aside with Schmidt on a way to try somehow to intervene in not very positive direction. If you ask me, to make stability, to make countries stable, to bring investors inside. So maybe you should think about that. I'm telling you from a prospect, somebody who is working for Bosnia for 32 years now. I would like to see results, because I am afraid in 2 years, what's going on election in 2 years. We all need results. We need something in coming 2 years to bring back the waters for all of you who want, I mean, for you, 3 of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course, so, thank you. Yeah.
You have to have focus on that things. And I don't know, that's what Christian Schmidt is doing right now. My opinion is not very, very good for us. Maybe you should say a word about that in publicly as well.
I'm actually, I reacted because of his statement about, I don't know, connecting Ali Izetbegovic and Mladic, and I think it was a mistake, but he explained. And I saw one more time, it's not so important. This is more important, this topic about Kovacevic case. But I will tell you, HTZ, they don't need Schmidt. They can control whole process by themselves. Stopping every try actually to do some reorganization of constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina. So they have full control. And he made a mistake now. He made a mistake during the election night with changing the rules inside of the election night. He made two huge mistakes. But also on the other side, I'm not really happy to see like that kind of pressure on OHR. That's what Dodik needs right now at this moment. That is his plan. He's attacking Constitutional Court and he's attacking Christian Schmidt and OHR at the same time. If we actually push too much on OHR, if actually we are asking them to leave, I don't see any kind of solution for Bosnia and Herzegovina without these two important institutions. So I agree completely, and thank you very much. I know why you asked me. It is important to see results, to see this coalition going on, but also on the other side, we need to keep the stability inside of the government and to continue with the reforms, or to put a light on the person and on the party which is really blocking right now at this moment. That's SNSD and Dodik. On the other side, we can deal with HTZ. I don't believe them, of course. I have professional relations. I don't have any reason to believe to any politician in Bosnia and Herzegovina, especially not Jovic and Dodik. But also on the other side, stability of federation and pressure on us, SNSD, and on Dodik is, I think, better option than to fight everyone in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nerma, for your great question. Let's go to Mr. Duric. Nermin and Leila Duric from US.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Konakovic.
Alaikum salam.
I have two actually questions. Number one is US citizens and also Bosnian citizens. What are some detailed things that we can do here in the US? And I'll just give a quick example. Certain things that we have done trying to help Bosnia, and I'll share the example with Mr. Senator Chris Murphy. We talked to him. We encouraged him to go there. He's in foreign committee in the United States Senate. He goes to Bosnia a few years ago, comes back with such a disappointment that it's really hard to even have those conversations that we had before. So what are some things that we can do here in the US for Bosnia? And number two, it seems like that we all gave up on the part of Bosnia, which is called Republika Srpska at the moment. And I think that's the key to all the issues in Bosnia in the long term. And the few of us who are left trying to get the people to register to vote and to care about that part really don't have a lot of support from Bosnia, to be honest with you. And these elections that we just had, there's almost no more talk about, can we get a mayor in Srebrenica? Can we do any of these? Because we know that we're not going to get it. So my question is, do you or your party or some of your partners have a plan, or do you have resources that they're willing to help us who are working on the ground so we can take this to the next level? And we have 2 years before the next election. If we want to do anything, we need to get started right away.
Thank you very much. Excellent questions. I will start with the second one. We will start with all kinds of activities that are possible, NGO and governmental, with the campaign, how important it is to vote on the next and every future elections in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I will tell you just one example. In Prijedor, I think we have around 30,000 Bosniaks with the possibility to vote with the ID cards. And the last elections, I think this mayor of Prijedor is elected with 5,000-6,000 votes. The previous one was elected with 15,000 votes. So that shows if only half of our people, of Bosniaks and Bosnians, of course, Herzegovinians, that actually they love Bosnia and Herzegovina. If they vote, we can have a mayor of Prijedor. So can you imagine the change of the political scene in Bosnia and Herzegovina with only one city in Bosnia and Herzegovina? If we go back, you will see that in Republika Srpska Assembly, we had, I don't know, 20 years ago, we had 18 representatives, 20 sometimes, 19. It was like 15 was not good result. Now we have less than it's granted by Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina. We don't even have a caucus there. So that shows how big issue that is. But I think it's doable, it's possible. We are planning to include all Bosnians and Herzegovinians, including all famous cultural sports stars, everyone, like to start with the campaign maybe from June this year, July this year, and it should last for I don't know till the next elections. We will do everything we can to ask people to register and to vote in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That can change. That's more important than everything what we were talking about. That can change whole political scene in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Unfortunately, I don't know. Partially, maybe I do know, because us politicians from Bosnia, we were like in September when we need votes, then we were calling diaspora and actually lobbying, advocating for elections. And actually after the elections, nothing happened. Of course, we are doing what we can do through our diplomacy network inside of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we have some activities already. Of course, we have a problem with ambassadors that they are elected from Željka Cvijanović side. They are not they are not on the same side if we talk about the future elections. But I think we can do a lot with the people actually from my ministry. We started. We have some plans, and we will try whatever we can do. Also, on the other side, we are expecting you to advise us. What should we do? What is actually a kind of activity that we need to do from Bosnia and Herzegovina? Tell us, and we will really try to do our best. On the other side, I had excellent examples what our community in the United States especially is doing for Bosnia and Herzegovina with several cases. I met Mr. Murphy. I was in Washington this year. I think it was my official visit, and I met several senators and congressmen. Also, I had excellent conversation with him. I saw the example of Anne Wagner from St. Louis, actually, what she was doing for our country because of voters. She's doing that because we have really good and well-organized community in St. Louis. They have good connections with some congressmen and senators also. And she's pressing, really pushing so hard with this law, which should put Milorad Dodik on the same level like this Deripaska and all other oligarchs close to Putin. And that's a kind of help that really is helping to us politicians from Bosnia and Herzegovina to have good contacts with American representatives. United States is the most important foreign partners for Bosnia and Herzegovina. I strongly believe that's really true. I don't agree with everything what USA is doing in the world, but if we talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina, if USA leaves, actually, if they are not interested, then we're going to have big problems here in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So it's really important. I'm now trying to prepare for every solution after the elections. I have contacts with several Republicans. Actually, they are close to Trump. I don't know what can happen if he wins elections. On the other side, we have with Ambassador Murphy, with Blinken directly, with the State Department administration. We have really good relations now, and actually, the result is this pressure on Dodik, sanctions, and everything what USA is doing together with the United Kingdom. So you do your job. You're doing a really good job with connecting all these people from American administration. Tell us what else we can do with communicating with them, and we will continue. Of course, I was twice already this year in the United States for General Assembly in New York 2 weeks ago, and before that I went to meet some representatives from Congress and Senate also because of future ambient and field of relations of Bosnia and Herzegovina and USA.
I did have a chance to meet you at the UN in New York, and I'll be quick. People here feel that after 20 some years, nobody really cares about them anymore. We rarely have anybody come and visit. And last year I ran here for town council. I got elected, and from my experience here, there's nothing more important than talking to people. And we can have all these big campaigns on the TV asking people to vote. Unless we have people on the ground who are going to, just like I do, call and text your friends and people in the community, it's not going to happen. So I think more communication. I know you cannot take 2 weeks and come to US, but if you send somebody who works with you, people will say, well, somebody cares. Somebody came to see us. Somebody came to talk to us, and they explain why it's important to vote, not only in Bosnia, but here in the US as well. So I think that communication needs to be there. Those visits need to happen. At the moment, people just saw it. It's been so many years, new generations came. not so many people care about us in Bosnia anymore, and why would we vote? We don't want to do that anymore. I'm from Vlasianica, and I get more votes here from people who live in my state in Connecticut than the entire Bosnian population throughout the world, which is sad because they know how much more we can do. But again, there is no communication. People are giving up. So I'll end with that. Thank you so much.
I understand, and I agree completely. I will just share with you that I went to Washington officially, and then I organized St. Louis visit. I organized also Atlanta, and one I forgot actually 3 towns with our communities, and I was talking to many people from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Then I promised to the people in St. Louis that I'll be back during the New York General Assembly session. It was in the middle of campaign in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I stayed 2 more days because I went for one night to have conversation with people in St. Louis, and I went back to New York because I consider that really important. We should, and I will continue, of course, together with my colleagues. And I really don't care for who you will vote. I will promote that idea. If whatever people wants to do, they're free to do. Just let organize them to vote, especially Republika Srpska. I really don't care which party, especially not because I'm Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't want to use this position to promote my own party. That's really not important. Important is to go out, to vote, to register. It's not complicated. It's easy. It's like 20 minutes. You need 20 minutes to register yourself. You will have your papers, documents, send them back, and we can count them. So that's important. We will continue. But I think the wider kind of campaign we need, because people, I understand why they don't believe to politicians anymore. They don't trust them. So we need a huge, big Bosnian campaign that should explain how and why the elections are important. That's not because of the parties. This is really because of the future of our country.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nermin Duric. Thank you so much for this great question. And yes, it is a problem with voting. At least people in the US have dual citizenship, and in comparison to other countries, like I think Nerma mentioned in the comment, a lot of people in Germany, which is another country that has hundreds of thousands of people who can vote, but they had to give up their citizenship, so they can't vote in Bosnia. They applied for German citizenship, and they longer have no rights to vote. But from what I know, there were some bilateral meetings between Germany and Bosnia to change this law. I don't know, Minister, if you can comment on that for Germany and Bosnia. I think that now Bosnian citizens living in Germany who currently cannot vote in Bosnia because they had to give up their B citizenship to obtain German citizenship, there were some negotiations to have these agreements between Bosnia and Germany, and I think that was happening actually this summer. So if you can, Minister, give us some updates on that, perhaps.
Yes, of course. That's really great news from Germany. They decided actually to grant this possibility of dual citizenship for all citizens, not only Bosnia and Herzegovina, because they have also a brain drain issue, and they need many people because of their economy. On our side, we have 2 possible cases. Like, I don't believe that SNSD and HDZ will be ready to implement this decision, and I don't believe that we can expect a final decision in coming months, because they know the most of that people are pro-Bosnian, let's say, and they will vote. They will not vote some secessionist or some other kind of politics. And on the other side, let's go back to Constitution of Bosnia. They can block whatever they want to block. I think they will try to block. But Mr. Zvizdic, as a president of the House of Representatives, he actually appealed to a constitutional court. He sent this appeal, I don't know, like 6 months ago, I think, and we expect the constitutional court to decide really soon. And we hope that we have all arguments. If constitutional courts decide that we can have the double citizenship with Germany, then we solve the problem, because Germans, they already did their job, and that's going to be huge. Then we are expecting hundreds of thousands of people from Germany with the having right to vote. But also, let's go back, we need to convince them to go out to the elections and to vote.
Okay, great. Thank you, Minister Konakovic. So do we have anyone else for question? Patrick, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I did, but I think David, you may have had a question first. If you do, still go ahead.
Well, I did have a question, but you could go ahead, Patrick, if you want.
Well, I was just going to comment about when you began the discussion today, you seem to have a sense of optimism about an opportunity both for the EU and for NATO membership. I guess we know what the barriers and obstacles are. Do you have a sense of what we could do, and you've answered it in part already, but what we can do to continue pressure on those who are blocking accession to both the EU and to NATO?
I think sanctions are really successful. Like it's something else is happening in Bosnia and Herzegovina after 2 decades probably. Yesterday, Dodik went out and he was talking about BRICS, some really, I don't know, let's say stupid statements. And after him, Borenovic went out and he explained that what Dodik is trying to explain is not possible, that EU is the only option. And he went out with numbers, with the same numbers I'm using every day, like export, like investments, like salaries, like relation with Germany, let's say. You know, we have a plus in foreign trade, in a trade with Germany and with Austria mostly. So these 2 countries are the most important foreign partners, trade partners for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And on the other side, I said before, like Russia and China together, less than 1% of our products. So that shows that our economy is going to die if we don't continue with the EU or develop relations with the EU, of course. So this is really good because for 2 decades, we are looking politicians in Republika Srpska competing in secessionism, let's say, or good relations with Russia, or anti-NATO campaign, or now something is happening because we have light on the political scene. We have politicians ready for compromises, but also ready for solutions. And I think we opened this political scene finally on the right on the right way, let's say. Now we can see the clean picture. So sanctions are good. What we need from you also, we need to be ready for, I don't know how now, today, we are following, of course, closely what is expected to happen on the elections in USA. It's dangerous because we can see that Vučić is doing serious diplomacy, you know. He's lobbying, he's advocating, he's actually had direct relations with the members of Trump's family. They are investing in Serbia. They have like lobbyists all over USA. And we need our community together with us, of course, to respond and to find solutions. What will happen if this Biden or Kamala Harris administration actually, if they don't win? So I'm having already relations and contacts and explaining. I don't expect USA to give up or to leave, but if USA is not present, if they are not focused like they are focused like right now, then Dodik has a lot of space. Let me remind you, before aggression on Ukraine, he started officially the secessionist story. He adopted the law about some pharmacy law. It was taking completely the jurisdiction from state level to entity level. It was completely against Constitution of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and no one reacted. We had institutions blocked in Bosnia and Herzegovina. International community was not interested. And after aggression in Ukraine, we have a new time, let's say. This is really so-called momentum, because they woke up and they realized they have a Russian bear inside of their in the heart of Europe, playing Russian game. And so that actually was provoking, but also that put a kind of pressure on Europeans, and they are now more active. So these things, like, you know, talking, advocating for stability of Bosnia and Herzegovina is the most important issue for us, for all of us. Sanctions are really good. At the beginning, I was the one actually organizing this coalition, and I said, okay, let's see if he's okay, if he delivers, if he doesn't block. So let's continue with him. But if he starts, okay, then let's hit him so hard. And then Germans, they hit him first. They took that 100 million euros for 4 projects for Republika Srpska. And then actually with these sanctions, now he looks lost. He knows he cannot win. He cannot win this game. I think he's going to be at the end of the process. He's going to be He's being prosecuted, but he will be prosecuted, and probably he will not be able to be president of Republika Srpska anymore. Finally, but that's a good message. That doesn't solve a problem. So probably his son, he's taking over as SNSD, and he will continue with the same politics. But he will remember that he cannot not attack institutions. He cannot attack Constitutional Court. He cannot attack Christian Schmidt or OHR without consequences. So that's going to be a really good message. Let's continue with this good work we have today, and let's be ready for, I don't know, if Trump wins. So then what will happen with USA-Bosnia-Herzegovina relations? If you have advices, of course, on the other side, tell us what else we can do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick, for your question, and thank you, Minister Konakovic. We have Akif here from St. Louis. Hi, Akif.
He was
Hi,
the reason
everyone.
why.
Greetings to Minister Konakovic. Just want to kind of add on to what we already spoke in terms of what perhaps Ministry of Foreign Affairs or some institution back in Bosnia can do to help us out in a sense of ensuring that more people vote in the elections in Bosnia. Perhaps instead of trying to encompass the entire country, right, or even entire entity of RS, if you guys can sanction a study or some sort of research that would identify 10 regions or 10 municipalities in RS entity where we have the largest number of people that are already part of SIPs or otherwise that are already in the system, that could be a really good first step in terms of engaging with those targeted groups of people to ensure that they come out to vote. And instead of stretching resources, you know, even in the municipalities that may not have that many Bosniaks, for example, particularly in the Western Bosnia, but some municipalities in Western Bosnia, such as Prijedor, but a lot of more municipalities from Foča, from Bijeljina, from Srebrenica, Visegrad, where we know that we have a large number of people outside of Bosnia, they could be targeted and resources could be strategically placed in those communities to encourage them to come out to elections. And this is important equally, in my opinion, in terms of local or general elections. So I just wanted to make that suggestion and kind of throw it out there as something to think about. I think if the word comes out from Bosnia that those 10 municipalities are the target for as many Bosnians to vote in those municipalities, it will be much easier for us to concentrate on folks that are just from those municipalities than kind of like trying to encompass everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Akif. That's a really great idea. I think we can have information from SIPs. It's legal. We can have numbers and concentrate ourselves on those targets who are actually more successful or more reasonable. That's really good. We're gonna organize a few meetings. You will be informed. Probably you will be included also in these campaign activities, which includes some formal activities in sense of numbers and possibilities, and this proposal is really good.
Okay, thank you, Akif. And Professor Pettigrew, you wanted to add something? I did see your hand up. And then we also have Azem Dervishevic, Azem from Boston, for one more question. Just keeping the time.
What is our end time?
We still have, it's in Bosnia, it's 5:45. So we have another 15 minutes.
Okay, maybe I can ask a brief question then, if Azem doesn't mind. And that I was going to mention that everyone here is doing good work, and but I wanted to mention that Leila Duric and Nermin in Connecticut were instrumental in passing a law in Connecticut. It's the first law in the United States recognizing the Srebrenica genocide and designating July 11th as as a day in the state when we have commemorative activities and we raise the Bosnian flag at the State House. So I wanted to mention the important work they did on that project. Actually, it was called Bosnian Genocide Remembrance Day to try to incorporate the suffering and aggression in other parts of Bosnia, but it's on July 11th. So I thought that was very important. And Nermin and I were at the UN when you gave your very moving and important remarks at the commemoration at the General Assembly. So that was, and then we had a commemoration later in the day in Wethersfield, in front of the Wethersfield Town Hall. So I guess my question was something along the lines of the problem that of the working group has been working on, which is that of memorialization. Let's say the right to memorialization beyond Srebrenica in Konakovic, or this summer, for example, I visited 3 atrocity sites: Pilica Cultural Center, Branjevo Farm, and Petkovci Dam. And these are sites that were documented in many of the cases at the ICTY that are completely unmarked and completely forgotten. So I think this is a case where the international community has completely failed Bosnia, and we've appealed to the High Representative about the museum being built at Heliodrome, for example, for the perpetrators, the lack of a memorial at the concentration camp at Heliodrome and other places, and we get absolutely no response. We've approached the advisors, so I wonder if there's some mechanism for a breakthrough in memorialization that we could think about, especially at a place like Pilica Cultural Center, which is completely, it looks like, if you go into this room, it looks like, the day that it happened, and the building is deteriorating. So it's I think it's tragic. So I'm just reaching out to you to see if you have any suggestions for what we can do to try to bring more pressure on the High Representative, since Republika Srpska would not respond to these requests from the Victims Association and Kalinovic and so forth. So that was, but also I wanted to be sure, I jumped into my question. I wanted to thank you again for joining us today, taking the time out of your busy schedule. And so thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Like, pressure on High Representative is okay, and of course, he should do his job, and he can decide. That he has a power. Also, on the other side, we have several really serious institutions on the cantonal levels, especially in Sarajevo. We have serious institutions, and now we have serious people running those institutions. And we are actually doing this memorialization thing all over Bosnia and Herzegovina, because I agree completely with you. We are talking about genocide in Srebrenica because it's international court decision. We can talk about Prijedor, Foča, Vlasenica, Visegrad, all other parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and it's impossible, as you know already, on the state level to have any kind of agreement with the Serb side, especially. They will never support, they will never vote for that kind of memorialization or institutional solutions. But we have some solutions on the lower levels of government, and Canton Sarajevo, Canton Tuzla, some of them, they are really doing a good job. So maybe if you have some concrete proposals, I can organize this kind of meeting, Zoom, or some contacts or emails, like let's change informations and let's actually deliver this issue to people who are responsible right now at the beginning in Sarajevo. So maybe they also know what else we can do in this story.
Okay, thank you.
And it was Maryland. I visited Maryland. I remember now, this was the fourth destination after during my visit to Washington, because they were doing the same because of the influence, like Nermin is doing and you are doing all together in their local communities. Actually, in Maryland, they have really good relations with the city of Sarajevo. They have people there. They have association of Maryland, Bosnia Herzegovina citizens of Bosnians. They are also citizens of USA, and that really works. That also delivers a lot of good results, like laws, like, I don't know, institutional memorialization and other, but economical and education activities also.
Okay, great. Thank you, Professor Pettigrew, for your question. And now let's go to Boston, to Mr. Dervishovic. Azem, floor is yours.
Thank you, Vildana. Thank you, Minister Konakovic, for being with us. I'm from Visegrad, but now living in Boston. So I have two questions. One is question, one is more comment. It's I spend a lot of time in Visegrad when I visit Bosnia, and I see many more people. And for this election, I was able to receive names of the people who registered overseas. And I was actually shocked how small number of people actually did register to vote. And then I see people who are in Sarajevo, but they are spending more time in entity of Republika Srpska. And when I'm talking with them, one of the main reasons that they don't have health insurance, and they have a huge fear, many of them are at the old age. And I think a few years ago, you mentioned if your party gets elected in Canton of Sarajevo, which is the richest, that these things you will work for change. So I want to hear from you, because I think allowing people who are, say, from Visegrad, Foča, Rogatica, Rudo to have health insurance in Sarajevo, or people from Srebrenica or Bratunac to have in Tuzla Canton, it will bring a lot of people who will be willing to change their ID, and they're actually resigning in entity of Republika Srpska. That's my question.
I agree completely. They have solution solved already, but it's partial solution because it's on canton level only. We need to change, and we started to on the entity level to change several laws, and it was really big mistake from our side. We decided, like, for those people who are fighting inside of for the army of Bosnia and Herzegovina, they have their rights only if they stay in Canton Sarajevo. If they go back to Visegrad or to Vlasenica, they are losing their rights. And the rights are not small. Not only health insurance, they have some, I don't know, social benefits and other benefits. That's really not good. It was excellent action during the Adil Osmanovic mandate. At that time, he solved partially also, but then he left. He tried to implement a new law. Now we are trying to implement completely new law with all those social and other benefits for the people who decide to go back to Republika Srpska, because we have zero costs. We have them now registered in Bosnia and Herzegovina in Sarajevo, but they really and truly, they live in Visegrad. But because of this issue, they are registered in Sarajevo. No, they don't vote in Sarajevo. If we open the space for them, that the cost is zero, because they are already in our system, and but they don't believe, trust me. I had several interventions personally. I called the people inside of this health insurance in Sarajevo. I checked, they said, okay, they can go. They have rights, but they don't believe, because it's not still solved on the entity level. And we are really working on it, and it's really important. So if they feel protected, comfortable, I believe that we're going to have, I don't know, I don't believe anymore some huge numbers, but I think we will have hundreds of them going back and actually legally using their rights in Canton Sarajevo, Tuzla, or some other cantons.
And if I can have one more question. The richest two cantons and areas are Tuzla region and Sarajevo region. And I just was last month and drove from Tuzla to Sarajevo, and we all know the roads. So the amount of money that Bosnian citizens are having in the Bosnian bank, and also amount of money that Bosnians overseas have in the bank that are basically sitting there, and all the local government, state government, they can issue the bonds. So since now your party, it's in power in canton, in a federation, is the state, and I know there's a difficulty in the federal level because of HDZ, and the state level because of SNSD. But why two cantons, Sarajevo and Tuzla, two vlade,
Governments, yeah.
government, the government here is different political. They
Yeah, yeah.
sit down and make that decision, and basically the government, these two government can issue the bonds, and I'm guaranteed that many Bosnian overseas will be willing to buy these bonds that can be used to build a road, and that will help with the economy. I know this is a long-term project, but when we drive through West Herzegovina, there's very good highways, they're just very fast. So that's my other question, and I will.
I agree. I believe they don't have jurisdiction to do on the cantonal level, because this fiscal jurisdiction is on the entity and state level. If they want to like provide opportunity for both, they need to have agreements with the entity and state governments. And I will go back for the most important issue for our country, that's political stability. First, security, because all investors, including Bosnians overseas or outside of Bosnia and Herzegovina, they're asking, okay, I will invest, but can you tell me, are we going to fight again? Is it going to be war or not? And then we go back to political stability. I will tell you just one information. At the beginning of this mandate, it's really hard to go and to sit and to talk with the people like Milorad Dodik, Dragan Čović also. It's not easy. It's not my choice. Like I prefer something else. You have to sit and to talk with the people who are still denying genocide, celebrating war crimes and criminals. But that's the only way in Bosnia and Herzegovina that this country can go a few steps forward, you know. And when we confirmed the new Council of Ministers and we started with some normal activities, then you have Standard Poor's, World Credit Agency. They upgraded us to higher level because they said, okay, we can see improvement of political stability. So we need to have that because of the future of this country. We need to be politically stable. Unfortunately, we need to talk with those people, representatives from Republika Srpska. They all think the same about genocide. They are all denying genocide. But we have only two choices: to fight them and to block everything, or to try to find some solutions and to open the space for every kind of investments, including this infrastructure that's really important. And it's really good to see now. You can see this Corridor 5C going really good. It goes really good. It started 5-6 years ago, and it's really important, and it goes really good. So I know how important is Tuzla-Sarajevo communication. We supported the idea with the Sarajevo-Belgrade highway. I supported this part, Sarajevo-Tuzla-Bijeljina-Belgrade, because that really works, and economically it's really important. And actually, I'm not in favor of the other one, which goes avoiding Gorazde, avoiding Sanjak. It goes like to Užice or I don't know, some parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina that you cannot see a person there in Republika Srpska. So I agree, it's important. There are some activities, unfortunately, probably still not good enough for Sarajevo-Tuzla communication.
Thank you, Azem. Thank you, Minister Konakovic. If we don't have anyone else, I would like to wrap up today's discussion. But before I do that, I would like to touch also on an important aspect of Bosnia's international influence. Minister Konakovic, given your unique background in sports, I wanted to ask you, how can Bosnia leverage this, so to say, sports diplomacy and the global presence of Bosnian athletes to strengthen its diplomatic ties and economic relations with key countries like the United States? What concrete steps can be taken through sports and broader economic diplomatic channels to engage the diaspora more effectively in Bosnia's journey towards the EU and NATO integration?
Since I'm Minister of Foreign Affairs, we have more than 30 new ambassadors. All our sport stars. Like I'm giving diplomatic passports to all of them. not only because of some technical issues, because they have a problem with EU, especially those who are really good. They need to stay more than 90 days in European Union, and they cannot stay if they don't have diplomatic passports. But also on the other side, they have excellent connections. They are really appreciated in their communities. They have many contacts. They are actually promoting their countries every day, not only sports. Like we have a cultural representatives also, and other people they love Bosnia and Herzegovina. They are actually promoting Bosnia and Herzegovina every day. They can really be a good lobbyist for Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we are trying to use all of them. We are trying to include all of them in this kind of campaign, how important it is to vote on the next and every future election. So that really can help. We have many Bosnian and Herzegovinians all over the world with an excellent status, or I don't know, like they're enjoying respect in their communities, and they are really doing a lot of things for our country. I think we should bring them all together. That's our job. They're already partially they're doing, and I just realize in this position how many people all over the world actually every day is working for Bosnia and Herzegovina, but they are not like together. We should bring them all together through some NGOs, but also through direct communication with the representatives of our governments, and finally with the same strategy, with the same goal, with a defined strategy in the future. That's something that we are planning to do. We are counting on all of you. And of course, we will try to include many people. We have few examples like this guy, young guy, this Chustovic guy from Australia. We have this excellent story. I didn't know that today there are people from St. Louis. I didn't know Azem will be here also. I know them personally. So I'm delighted with what actually I saw they're doing for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Our goal and our main challenge is to bring them all together and to work for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Economically, they can do a lot, but we have to have political stability. We need to offer, we cannot talk about Bosnia and Herzegovina like 5 years after the war. We don't need help. This is a country of possibilities, opportunities. We have excellent geographical position. We can be truly a kind of bridge between East and West. We have really skilled laborers. We have low costs of energy. We have good connections still for export. If you are close to, I don't know, highways with Croatia or part of Serbia, you'll be in Zagreb in 4 hours, 3 hours. You'll be in capitals of EU really in 6 to 12 hours. So that's for the economy, big opportunity. Just we need to provide stability, security, and to continue with the fight for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think it's an excellent idea to work more towards bringing and connecting these people. And I attended actually an event. It was a charity event in Visoko, and Samir Osmanagic gathered. I think Canan Musa was there, Nurkic was there, Djokovic was there. And it was a charity event where they donated and played with the local kids. And for me, it was one of the very emotional days to witness our world-class athletes directly engaging with the community and our basketball stars. So that was yeah, thank you for that, and I'm happy to hear that they get the diplomatic passports. Well deserved. So now let's go to Mr. Philip Weiner is here. Philip,
and maybe we'll
great
make this
to see you.
We'll make this the last question, just so we respect everyone's time, especially the ministers. Thank you, Vildana. I didn't want to overlook Nerma's message of greetings from Dr. Schwartz-Schilling to everyone. Thank you, Nerma, for that. So Phil, you're going to have the last word.
Yeah, I'm going to be brief. It's really first good afternoon, not good morning anymore. Good afternoon, Minister. Thank you for coming here. I'm not aware if you've already heard, but the Congressman Jake Auchincloss from Massachusetts has reestablished the Congressional Caucus for Bosnia. And I'm really speaking to the working group at this time. There are only 3 members. Under the old caucus, they had approximately 20 members, senators and congresspeople. We need you to contact your congressmen, your senators in your states. And if you have good relationships, have them reach out to Congressman Auchincloss, Jake Auchincloss from Massachusetts, and tell him that they want to be members of the Congressional Caucus. We want to build it up again, get it going, and get it to help Bosnia and Herzegovina. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. And we want to credit our colleagues from the Congress of Bosniaks of North America, especially Selma Porcha, for getting that initiative restarted. We are so grateful to you, Minister Konakovic, for your time today, taking time out of your Sunday and time away from your family. And thank you to all of you, especially Vildana, for such a nice job facilitating. David, I can't tell if your question is a serious one or not. He asks, what position did you play on the basketball court?
Yeah.
Forward, and then later, actually, power forward, 3 and 4.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
I'm 6'7" tall, so it's nice height. Yeah. The best
Very
part
good.
of my life, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you again for your time. Thank you to all of
Thank
you
you
for
so
joining
much.
us today, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we can repeat this in I don't know, 3 months maybe.
Yeah,
Let's
wonderful.
see. And
Excellent.
I don't know, information for St. Louis is that next presidency session they will decide about consulate in St. Louis.
I really
very good.
appreciate it. We'll look
Yeah.
forward
They
to
have it
that.
in their agenda. They have it in their agenda. So I hope that we will do that really soon.
Thank you.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you again.
Thanks to
Bye-bye all.
everyone.
Thank you
Bye.
so
Thank you.
much. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Here is
Bye-bye.
dark already. So
Okay. Laku noć.
laku noć. Thank you so much.
Hvala.